Hello, everyone. This is Stephanie Locke, and this is my Module 3, my interviews with my special education teacher, one of our peers, and my building principal. So for the first question for the child find procedures, they basically all said the same thing, uh, going through and identifying those kids that may be struggling, and then the SIT referral, meeting with the parents, the school psych, the counselor, the principal, the classroom teacher. They discuss learning strategies to try in the classroom first, and then uh, go from there. The principal actually added that the school psych is the one that makes the determination to proceed with the testing, which is something that I did not know. Challenging part for the special education teacher, she said that the paperwork and the redundancy of it, she feels that when she's doing paperwork that she's saying the same thing over and over again, just on a different form. For the paraeducator, she felt that she struggles with distinguishing the line between friend versus teacher. She wants her kids to feel comfortable enough to come to her with problems, not just school problems, but the problems that, general teenage life that they have. Um, for the principal, his challenging part that he's dealing with is when it comes to deciding to hold kids back. Because we do have a particular student who he's worried that him not making the decision to hold him back may have done the student a disservice, and it also extends the identification process. The rewarding part for the special education teacher, it's the aha moments when the kids actually get it, when you've been working with a kid and working with a kid, and then finally something clicks. And then when the students and even the parents appreciate the extra things that she does, because she is an amazing special education teacher. She's been teaching for 39 years, and she's great. For the paraeducator, she really likes when the kids get excited for doing well on an assignment or a project or a test, and one that she's helped them with. She also really appreciates, and it's really rewarding when seeing parents and the parent will tell them how well their kid is doing. For the principal, it's more about seeing the students being successful after high school, seeing them go through school, being a success here, and then going on, leaving school and being a success there. Advice on supervision for the special education teachers, she really wants the principals to treat the paras as staff. They need to support and respect the paras. The example she gave dealt with if a para is trying to correct a student behavior, and the student should listen to the para because the para should be respected, and it starts at the top. And so if the principal is treating the para like staff, that should trickle down. And then she also suggested working with the special education teacher over para concerns. Don't just automatically assume something. Go and talk to the special education teacher. For the para, it was treat special education like any other subject or class. Don't treat it as its own separate thing. Um, just just make sure that you're not um, uh, making it seem like the class isn't important or not worth your time, that kind of stuff. And then for the principal, here lately, he has been dealing with making sure that teachers are understanding that if a para is in your room, you should use that para to your advantage, but you are still the boss of your classroom. And then if there's an issue with a para that you have in your class, you, as a teacher, need to communicate that with the para. Working with parents, the special education teacher really talked about how when it comes to communication, making sure that you are communicating with the parents in a way that will help and work for them. So email, phone calls, or even text messages, if that's what's going to work for the parent. And then even when you have to give bad news or tell them that there's a behavior problem in the school, still she tries to give them something positive about their student. When you're a parent of a special education student, your job is harder than what some people would say as a regular student. So she tries to keep that in mind when she's working with parents because it is a harder job. For the parish, she doesn't really talk directly to the parents, just more in passing. We're in a small town, so it's not uncommon to bump into a parent just going to the post office. So, but when she does, she always tries to give them something positive because, again, it's hard being a parent and especially being a parent with a student who has special needs. For the principal, he is there more to mediate disagreements. If there's a disagreement between the parent and the special education teacher, maybe over an IEP issue, and that type of thing. And he's there. He feels that he's there to ensure everyone is doing what they're supposed to in regards to the IEP. Working with the regular education teachers, special education teachers stress that communication is key, and she feels that what she does and what she tries to do, she goes into the classrooms and she asks how she can help the teacher, and she offers her assistance. I don't know if I said it or not, but she has been teaching for 39 years, and she has tons of ways to modify things, even for kids that aren't identified. She has been a great help, even just particularly to me. So she believes that working with it's pretty great here. The same with the para. She believes she works really great with regular education teachers. She when she goes into a classroom, she makes sure that the regular education teacher knows that she's there to modify the assignment, to put it at their level so that they are understanding the same concepts. It's still the same concept, it's just where they can get it. And then for the principal, he works really well with the regular education teachers. When we're talking about specifically special education, he really stresses to make sure that everyone understands it is a legal document. And if there is a problem that we're not following the IEP, he will intervene. Advice for first year administrators. The special education teacher started with, she knows that as a first year administrator, you're going to be busy. You're trying to figure out your job and everything. But she also stressed that special education, it's such a big part of education now. You have to take the time to learn about the special education department in your school. Come to the IEP meetings, even just come to the SPED classroom to see the different things that they're doing, to see how they're modifying assignments so that you, as a first year administrator, can understand and maybe even answer a question if you get asked it. With the paraeducator, she said, make sure you have patience. It's going to take a lot of patience, especially if you don't have a background in special education. And she also said to get advice from teachers, experienced teachers in the school. So if there's a teacher in the school that has more experience than you, like if you move to a different school when you become a first year administrator, find someone that can tell you how things are done. And then my principal said, going ready to learn. Nobody's going to know everything about special education unless you come from special education. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's okay that you don't know the answer to it. Make sure you have people that you can call that you trust, and then making sure that you as the administrator are communicating and that you're listening at the same time, listening to concerns and listening to even just how things are done. Describing the role between the special education teacher and the principal. Special education teacher said, see the teacher as part of the staff. And realize that the special education teacher can offer assistance. And she really stressed to use a special education teacher as an asset because they do have a lot of experience. They have all this knowledge about modifications and accommodations that, we necessarily won't have unless we come from the special education background. I'm an ag teacher. I don't have that background. And so I have used my special education teacher a lot, and she's been a really great help. The para, again, talked about, treat it like another class. Make sure you communicate and be involved in the special education department. Don't just, say, okay, Mrs. Smith, you are the special education teacher. You take care of everything. as the administrator, you should be involved. The principal talked about meeting the needs of the kids being served, and then working together to solve problems. Like if there's a problem, work with that special education teacher. Don't just be the dictator and solve the problem on your own. Talk to them. That's a great way to get a problem solved, because we won't necessarily know everything about special education. Finally, the characteristics for aspiring administrators. The special education teacher said be positive and encourage your staff. And when you go to the encouragement, you're going to encourage someone, be specific. Say, I like how you did this. I really appreciate how you did that. The principal needs to be organized. And also, she said, be willing to delegate. There are a lot of things that she believes, even here, that if it was delegated, there'd be more time for our principal to do other things. For the para, she talked about a principal that is willing to make the changes when needed. So being flexible, showing that you care, and then do the role, like do your job, be the principal. For the principal, he talked about how you have to have a love for kids and you have to want to help kids. Like that's what we're all about here in education. We're here for the kids. A principal needs to have high integrity. There's a lot of privacy issues, privacy laws. You need to have a knowledge of the field, not having a little bit of background knowledge in special education. And I'm pretty sure he was even stressing, you have to have a knowledge of education in general. You need to have good communication skills for your staff, for faculty, for all the little things you need to communicate about. And then finally, communicate with parents. You need to make sure that you are taking care of any discussions that may need to happen, and that type of stuff. And that is the end of my interviews. I hope maybe you learned something different from the perspective of a really small school. Thank you for watching.